Hello and welcome to the Year 8 Strategy video. My name is Miss Barrett and I'm the Year 8 Strategy Leader at Dormston School. I just wanted to start by introducing myself so you're aware of the role that I'm going to be playing throughout your child's time at Dormston in Year 8. So I operate alongside the pastoral house system, but my role is quite different. I focus on the progress, attainment and PSHE and character development of all the pupils in Year 8. I'll talk about this in more detail as we progress. But I get to do a lot of exciting things with the students, such as awards assemblies, career days. We also get speakers in to speak to the students. And what the year kind of looks like, just to give you a bit of an overview. So, except the character education and the curriculum side of things, we also have lots of interventions in place for mentoring and focusing on the effort. We look at what good learning looks like, and then we also provide outlets for post-16 careers.
Hi, my name is Mrs Jones. I'm currently covering for Mrs Bell, our Key Stage 3 Maths Coordinator, because she's on maternity leave. But I just wanted to talk you through some of the maths that we do across Year 8 and Year 9. So, in Year 8 and Year 9 maths, we follow this white rose scheme of work, which builds on and expands pupil knowledge that they've already developed in Year 7 and Year 8 for Year 9, or just in Year 7 for Year 8. It follows a curriculum that spirals from Year Autumn through to summer. In Year 8 they'll be doing ratio and scale, multiplicative change, multiplying, dividing fractions, representing data, fraction percentages, etc. And then following on from that in Year 9 they move on to using algebra, straight line graphs, maths and money, three-dimensional shapes, etc. So you can see the spiral curriculum that follows right through our school, and White Rose is now used through the year groups Year 7, Year 8 and Year 9. Some of it is also used in Year 10 as well. It's really, really good and the pupils gain a lot from it. Our homework is set following the units on Maths Watch. So pupils can log into Maths Watch. It is their school login at Dormston. There's nothing on the end of Dormston, just at Dormston, and they repeat the same for their password. Pupils will be given their passwords and logins in their maths lessons, just to reiterate, but it is the same as last year. What we would say is pupils should change their passwords for the first time they log in, just to make sure it's really secure, and we have found in the past that pupils have copied other people's work, which obviously we want to avoid as much as possible.
Hi, I'm Miss Lauren Chaplin. I'm the Key Stage 3 English Coordinator. I look after Years 7, 8 and 9. So, English in Year 8 looks a little bit like this. We start the year with Novel Dark Side. That takes us up until Christmas. In Spring 1, it's Crime and Punishment. In Spring 2, it's Heritage Poetry. And we finish the year with a focus on Shakespeare, looking at his speeches and then the festival. In a little bit more detail, it essentially breaks down to this. So at the start of the year, we're looking at the Gothic horror. That comprises of language component 2, reading skills, texture analysis, and a literature focus, when we're looking at relationships. Our main objective in Year 8 is to upskill from Year 7. In Year 7 they look at character analysis, in Year 8 we move on to relationship analysis, and that eventually leads on in Year 9 to theme analysis. After autumn, in the spring, we look at reading skills with the heritage poetry and the crime and punishment. We look at synthesis and comparison using transactional writing, letter writing, speech writing, article writing. They cover all the writing formats that will come up in the GCSE. By the summer, they're looking at extract analysis. We're not going to throw whole Shakespeare plays at Year 8 students, but we will give them extracts. We will give them famous speeches to look at. And that's looking at literature component 1, preparing them for their Macbeth exam in Year 10 and Year 11. And then we finish the year on something wonderful. We do the Shakespeare Festival, where each class will have an opportunity to act out a condensed version of a Shakespeare play. If you've got any questions on this, feel free to email me, lchaplin@dormston.dudley.sch.uk.
So Year 8 is really an important year group. It's often seen as this dip year, and there's a lot of research that actually talks about how in Year 8 students make a really positive start, but when they get to Year 8 things literally start to take a bit of a nosedive, and it isn't until Year 10 when things pick up again. What we really want to do here is to keep students on the right track. So for me, it's really about, not letting students get demotivated and, making them understand the meaningfulness of the year they have ahead of them. So key things for success then. So exemplary attendance, so trying to get that 97% and above attendance is really going to be beneficial to your child. The more they're in school, the more they're going to know. Obviously there are times, particularly in the current circumstances, when that may not be possible, but this is why it's going to be important for them to have access to our resources and go to schools so they can make sure that they're keeping up to date. Be punctual and on time, be organised and having the correct equipment. Like I said before, the current circumstances means that they're carrying around a lot of their belongings with them on a daily basis. So far they're doing really, really well, but it's going to be really crucial that they can keep on top of this to make sure that they're never missing out on their learning. So completing homework on time, and extracurricular at the moment we've had to pause that, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to restart it, and that will really help them with their personal development, but also their education development as well. We say about going above and beyond in all subjects. We always want students to try and aim for an effort score of 2 and above. 2 is our ranking of good, 1 will be the ranking of excellence. So we expect all students to get 2s and above, and 3 would be satisfactory, whereas 4 would be poor. We would obviously, with the house team, put into place interventions, and we felt as though students' efforts needed improving. We want them as well to understand the positive effects of good quality feedback, both to assessments and to teacher comments. And it's also about this character development, or about being an approachable, kind individual. So it's really important that your child is in school as much as possible. So simply by missing just 3.5 days of school, that's 16 lessons they've missed over the course of the year. And all of these times add up. So absences can result in missing key information in lessons and subjects, important deadlines, homework deadlines, but also missing key social opportunities and friendship opportunities within school. We understand that there's going to be times when they need to be at home and they are unwell, but it's about when they can be in school, promoting that as much as possible so that they end the year making as much progress as they can. You might be aware already that the school is operating on a 5-year curriculum. So this spiral curriculum is where everything they learn from Year 7 and 8 and Key Stage 3 ties into the bigger picture right up until Year 11. So this again is why it's so important that they're in school as much as possible. Something they learn in Year 7 may be just as important and be revisited in Year 11. Again, the last few years we've been operating on the 1 to 9 system. So 1 is the lower ranking and 9 is right at the top at the moment. So just to give you a bit of an idea, a grade 1 is roughly equivalent to the former grade of G, where a grade 9 is right up there beyond an A star. Obviously when they join the school with us, they're going to be towards the bottom half of this. So it is completely normal to see targets of 1, 2, 3 and so on within Year 7 and Year 8 as well. They are real GCSE target grades, which is why they will start off lower down. The idea is they'll make that progress on their flight path as they move throughout the school. All students now are given a Year 11 target, so they are actually able to see what the bigger picture will be and what we expect them to be at the end with consistent hard work. Homework timetables, these are available on the website. Under curriculum, you'll find the homework timetables for each year group. The way that we've mapped them out is so students should never have more than 1 to 2 pieces a day. Teachers have to stick to this and it's monitored to ensure that takes place, and that way students can monitor and self-regulate their time. It should take between 30 and 40 minutes in Year 8, so you might notice a step up from last year in Year 7. Everything that we do is now put on Go for Schools, which I'll talk about in just a moment, and you can get access to that information as well as the students. Go for Schools is now used across the school in all subjects. Go for Schools is very useful for teachers because it allows them to post the homework on there and links and attachments so students can refer back to this at a later point. It's also really useful because parents can also access this and have it on their app, on their phones, and you don't just see homework set, you can see all kinds of things, so the online mark books, you can see behaviour tracking, progress reports, parental engagement as well, so you can actually have a look on there and change your own contact details rather than writing or going into the school. And obviously the homework plays a really key part here. If you haven't had that set up already, if you email the school at info@dormston.dudley.sch.uk, we'll be able to get that set up for you. So the Go for School app as well is really useful, and we encourage children to use it as much as possible. They're unable to use it in school, but the reason why we think the app is great is because students have their phones with them quite a lot, and they can very easily access the work that teachers have set to them, check their timetables, and check they've not missed anything. The app as well can also give them notifications that gives them that little extra prompt to save teachers and at home doing it as well. You'll be able to access on Go for School's timetable and target grades, and it's a 24/7 system, so it's live information that is updated. So information class teachers, should your child need to self-isolate as well, is going to be really important. If we have to go into another lockdown, we will be using Go for Schools as the main point of contact. If students have forgotten their emails, their logins to Go for Schools, all they need to do is to click forgotten password and a link will be sent to their email address. If they're unsure on either of those two bits of information, we advise that they speak to their form tutors and get that sorted straight away. So knowledge organisers was something that we introduced last year. So your child should already have a black folder that has all of their knowledge organisers in. They should have kept them from last year, hopefully. And throughout the course of the year, we will be distributing them as and when subjects feel they're needed. Again, this is going to be really useful because if they are at home learning, they will come in handy to offer that little bit of extra support. It also enables students to do extra revision or extra work should they wish to. So they'll start to be distributed the first term, and gradually students will add to them. Non-required work is optional. We do say to students who want those ones in efforts, so non-required work is something they should be pushing themselves to do. We've now put their non-required work on the website so students can actually access the information themselves. So it's the responsibility of the student rather than the responsibility of the teacher to push themselves to complete it. It's really useful because it allows them to do extra revision, extra work. All it's going to do is further their reading and also test their prior knowledge as well. So just some examples, it might be that the non-required work is about doing extra research, watching documentaries, or it could just be that they're getting to use their knowledge organisers to produce revision material that will be useful later on. We're just going to look at the PSHE learning journey now. That gives you an overview of what the students will be studying right from year 7 up to year 11. So you can see I've highlighted the year 8 section here, and I'm going to talk to you about what they'll be doing in a little bit more depth. But there's a reason why we've done it as this journey, is because everything that they do in year 7 will be touched upon in more detail as the years progress. So we see it as that spiral curriculum. They're building on topics or knowledge that they pick up from year 7. In year 8 this year, they've started on study skills already. So this is just getting them back into the mindset of being in school, being organised and thinking about what makes a good learner. Then they'll move on to crime and consequences, which is our citizenship module, and then you can see they progress to children's rights and responsibilities, careers and stereotypes in January, body image and developing relationships, managing emotions and exam stress. That falls as well at a really good time where they're preparing for their junior assessment, and hopefully it takes the pressure off them a little bit because we'll give them some strategies that they need to be able to manage their time and if they are feeling particularly stressed. And then lastly, we end with family relationships and conflict. We also talk about careers within the PSHE module. So in January, close to Careers Week, they'll actually be looking at stereotypes within the career workforce. And they'll have on the 10th of February 2021, we're hoping to have a stereotypes day. We're unsure at the moment how this is going to operate, because in the past we've actually got external agencies in, and we've actually got lots of employees in. I'm not sure how that's going to work this year, but we will still be doing something linked to that topic, whether that's virtually or whether that's within the classroom environment. It's also Careers Week 1st to the 6th of March 2021. The idea is we're getting year 8s to think about what they want to do post-16. We're not getting them to commit to anything just yet, but it's about getting them to ask those questions. What am I good at? What would I need to develop? Is there anything that takes my interest now? So they start to investigate those ideas that they have. Lastly, I just want to leave you with some key dates. So there's going to be 3 data and effort drops throughout the course of the year. The first one's going to be the 20th of January 2021. So this will be the working out grades for subjects and predicted grades of where the staff think your child is going to be at the end of the year, so you can see whether or not they're on target, as well as that effort score, so how well they're doing in terms of that effort in the classroom. Got another one on the 21st of April, and then one lastly on the 7th of July at the end. Some other notable dates then, so I've already spoken about the careers opportunities. We're hoping to again have a parents' evening on the 28th of January. Again, we're not quite sure how that's logistically going to work just yet, but we'll update you as and when we know more. And then exam week, so the June exams are going to be on the 21st of June this year. Should you need any more information or if you have any questions or queries, I just want to direct you to where you can get those answers from. So please don't hesitate to get in touch. All of this information, remember, will be on the PowerPoint that's uploaded, so you can get the addresses down if you need. If you have a behaviour, attendance or welfare related query or concern, you would need to contact your child's head of house or deputy head of house. So you'll be able to access these emails to get the address you need. It will vary depending on what house they're in. If you've got any concerns or questions about progress, effort, attainment, PSHE, it will be myself. So you'd email cbarrett@dormston.dudley.sch.uk. Anything that's subject specific about one subject, it's either going to be the classroom teacher or the head of department. We'll be able to get that information off the school website or off Go for Schools. And lastly, if you've got any SE&Z related questions or queries, it would be to Mrs Cooper, our SENCO, and her email is scooper@dormston.dudley.sch.uk. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this information useful.